Hello, everybody. We are back. It's been a little while, but I'm your host, Brandon, with my friend here. Say hi.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? It's Cody.
Yeah, all right. And in our last discussion, which was a bit of a while ago, but we did not abandon or forget, we decided we were going to talk about the album The Mind is a Terrible Thing to Taste by Ministry. And I wanted to just right off the bat ask, did you like the album, yes or no?
Absolutely. And the only reason I say that I like punk music. I like a
Okay.
little bit of industrial rock, and I like a little bit of ambience. And take all of that and put a dash of like dystopian kind of screaming in it. I really liked it. And one thing I want to like definitely compliment on this album, man, is the rhythm section is fucking killer. Excuse my language, everybody, but it is actually really cool. Very unconventional rhythm patterns that are repetitive on top of like kind of chanting noises with some like cool ambiance noise. Like it really gets you in a different mindset for sure. I can definitely see myself like kind of, as a matter of fact, when I was listening to it, I was just doing some homework and like I really kind of, immersed myself in it. It was nice.
Okay, cool. I'm glad to hear you say that because I guess to the shock of no one, I really enjoy this album. I'm not always going to recommend stuff that I enjoy, just so we can have a little bit of mystery sometimes. But
Ooh.
um, I really love this fucking album. Now, would you be surprised if I told you this album was made in complete dysfunction?
No, but it kind of reminds me of that band you guys started in middle school. It's like a dysfunctional harmony. Like it's definitely you can definitely tell there's dysfunction. Would you now when you're saying dysfunction, are you implying like the writers themselves have some kind of dysfunction going on when they were writing this, or they
So
were just creating the music in a dysfunctional environment?
I'll pull up the page real quick to make sure I'm not getting this wrong. But from what I remember, um, jeez, hold on. Okay, from what I remember, they basically weren't collaborating with each other at all. It's like they were all kind of working independently from one another. And the song So What is apparently the only track that had two musicians in the studio at the same time.
Oh my gosh! So
Yeah,
it was this
which
was this intentional, or was this like
no,
a
this was
cataclysm?
like there was serious drug abuse, there was like tension between band members. It was just like a bad
Some
time. So
some like crew type shit.
I don't know anything about that, but if that's comparable, then sure.
Oh,
Um,
absolutely. Just let me throw that out there so you can add to your point. If you go watch The Dirt on Netflix, everybody, a little bio flick about Motley Crue. Did not know a lot about these guys, but it was a really interesting movie.
okay, I'll keep that in mind.
Yeah, it's
Um,
actually
but yeah, Al
sad.
Jorgensen, despite how well received this album was and is, because it was a bit ahead of its time, and it's very influential to like a lot of industrial bands. Um, Al Jorgensen doesn't actually really like it that much because of how it was taken on, by the band and their difficult time doing it.
Like he wanted it to be better. He wanted more for it.
I mean, I'm sure he would have preferred if they were all getting along and working together rather than.
Yeah, because it came
Um,
out good. It's such a good album. It's hard to believe that like a band was having such a hard time getting along because it sounded pretty
yeah,
well orchestrated.
because you can name other albums that were made under these kinds of circumstances where everybody was not getting along rather, and
Oh, absolutely.
things were
Yeah, I
going
meant
bad. Like Saint Anger by Metallica, one of the most
yeah, and
infamous bad albums.
throw another
Um,
detail on that like Motley Crue situation. Like a lot of people don't know this. I mean,
okay.
they had went through everything from serious heroin addiction. The lead singer's daughter died of cancer. Um, they killed their best friend in a drunk driving accident. I mean, everything from A to C. Like I love albums that come out like that because I think it wouldn't even come out the same way if they weren't going through those things.
It's true. That's something I often think about is like the alternate universe version of what could have been.
Oh yeah, of course.
Because think about this: are you familiar with the director David Cronenberg?
No, I'm not. I'm sure of there's if he's famous, I've seen one of his movies. I watch a lot of
Um,
movies.
he did the 1980s remake of The Fly.
Oh yes, I have seen that.
Okay, so David Cronenberg was almost the director of the sixth Star Wars movie, Return of the Jedi.
Should have been.
I mean, just like, I mean,
Just think
obviously it wouldn't be all body horror
about
because he would have had
yeah.
limitations, but just thinking about his directorial style, it's like that could have been a completely different experience, and that stuff
Oh,
fascinates me to think about.
well, what do you think about that? What do you think about different directors and cinematographers taking on different sections of a trilogy?
Oh, that's a good question. I guess it kind of depends on what sort of trilogy it is. I think generally it's best for the same kind of top end of the people to be involved to kind of keep it cohesive and
Absolutely, the writers have to be in the know at all times on what's going
yeah.
on.
On the other
Yeah.
hand, there are certain things where sometimes the person who started a thing isn't necessarily the best person to continue it because they're not necessarily a great director or anything.
No, just because they need a new something fresh. I mean, I think it's safe to say that most people, and not to get totally on the subject of Star Wars, but I think it's safe to say most people would like to see a darker, more, I wouldn't say violent, but realistic Star Wars movie come out. They've tried to do it a couple times, but, like when you read about, like if you're a dork and you read Star Wars or any, it's actually really intense. It's a really intense saga, and like it's really
Okay.
bloody.
Because I mean, George Lucas originally he only directed the first of those three movies.
Yeah, and
Uh,
only had some kind of input into the rest of them,
yeah,
barely.
and despite him being the creator of the series, the second movie that was released, Empire Strikes Back, that one's considered like the best of those three movies, and that's not even his movie.
It's not even exactly, man. It's almost like when you have a TV show, and they have different directors every so often come on, like whatever. And I like that, and maybe that format works better for something with more episodes, or whatnot. But I definitely am a big fan of letting the editorial control shift to a different, fresh idea, as long as it's staying within the continuity of the story, not getting too ridiculous.
Okay.
Um, but anyways, yeah. Not anyways.
Oh, yeah. So we spiraled way out of
Yeah.
the
It
topic,
happened.
but back to the album for a moment. Uh, the only thing I don't like about the album, and I mean I like the whole album except for one song, which is "Test." It sticks out like
Oh,
a sore thumb. It
it,
is completely
it,
different than the rest of the album, and it's very jarring.
I'm not gonna lie. That's probably my favorite song in the whole album.
See, that's why I like doing this with you because we don't necessarily have the same opinions on things.
Well, I almost want. I didn't look into it. They sound remarkably like a punk band I used to listen to called Doctor No. At least the vocals do, and
Okay.
kind of like speed drum rhythm. And I was like, I'd almost believe that maybe somebody in the band is actually a part of Doctor No, and I'm just unaware of it. But it was pretty like the similarity was uncanny. It was really close. But yeah, I particularly like that off-putting, repulsive kind of sound.
Okay. Did you have a favorite track?
So Test was probably one of my favorites,
Okay.
but I think Dream was my absolute favorite, and it's just like
Really?
I'm not really sure why I liked it. It just seemed to, I don't know. Just
Just
when that
just had
song
that
came
special
on,
something for you?
I think it was the point when I was listening to it, and I felt like when you're listening to something and you start nodding your head on and like subconsciously, and you're actually listening. It's basically that moment when you're actually listening and you're not just trying to listen. And that's kind of the song that really caught my ear, and I was like, okay, well, I guess this is my favorite. Who knows why anybody picks their favorite song, really?
Yeah, if I had to pick a favorite, it'd actually be pretty hard because one of the obvious ones would be to pick Thieves. It's one of the more well-known tracks off of the
Hmm.
album, and rightly so. It's got a really intense, the And of course, it's got the sampling from Full Metal Jacket, which that's another thing I love about industrial music is the sampling. I think when it's done right, can
Oh
really
my
add
god,
to it.
yeah. I definitely wanted to throw that in there. Totally forgot the sampling they used for like the just the extra noises and like rhythm section, dude. It honestly, I would say almost like a precursor to what EDM is now, or like heavier EDM is now. And
Yeah,
it also had like a very kind of like dull and gloomy ambient noise humming in the back throughout really the whole album. There's
yeah,
just moments of like ambient, like on top of like rhythm and on top of guitars, just like this like ambiotic, like just chaos. And I was like, see, it's those extra little dimensions that really fucking make an album cool. Like it really shows like this isn't just the guys in some garage trying to, make you bang your head. Like they actually put some heart and soul into it. I can appreciate that. I make music myself, so
yeah. I do as well. I don't know if we mentioned that last time, but
we are aspiring musicians, and we're gonna start a band.
I mean, I wouldn't be opposed.
The band's name would be called Brandon.
Okay, I would be opposed to that. I don't want that.
I'm not gonna lie to you, dope Brandon. They'll just, hello, we're Brandon, and we make
We're
noise, and then just
Brandon.
start fucking railing on guitars and throwing shit at people. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was Brandon for 3 seconds. You'll never see them again. Bye.
Nice. Yeah, if I had to pick a favorite song, it's really a strong tie between Burning Inside, Thieves, and I think So What. I really like So What quite a bit, even though it's on the longer side.
Now, is it called Dream Song or Dream?
I think it's called Dream Song.
Okay, so Dream
Let me
Song and
just
Test were
check.
probably my favorite.
Dream Song and I see. Okay.
And I don't know if it was meant to be listened to chronologically, but it worked.
Yeah, I would agree. It kind of flows together well. Except obviously we have a disagreement here, but I think Test is the only thing that doesn't fit for me. But um, as far as the rest of the album goes, I think it all works really well.
Well, Brandon, if you pray hard enough, maybe it could be your favorite.
If I pray hard enough, you fucking
You pray
idiot.
hard enough. I know a camp that'll set you straight.
Jesus Christ. Um, off not part of the podcast, but just after this, I do have a song I want to recommend to you just on a personal level.
Hell yeah.
Um,
Okay.
I'll just go ahead and say it now, just in case anyone else wants to listen to it. I think you might like this, Cody, just kind of based on what I'm picking up from what sorts of things you appreciate. Second Skin by Ego Likeness. I think you might like that song.
Second Skin by Ego Likeness. Well, let me
Yeah.
go put this in my playlist for today.
All right. Yeah, just take a listen to that anytime after we're done.
Second Skin. One more time. What was that? The artist name?
Ego Likeness.
Likeness. Got it. Got it. Got it. Okay. Cool. 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 And then after before we pick this back up, I'm gonna particularly, I'm not saying you don't already listen to EDM, but I want to particularly find a song that I think you might like and throw it your direction. If you like it, let me know. If not, then I'll get back on the hunt.
Okay.
All right, right on.
Yeah, anytime you have anything you want to recommend to me, man, just go right for it.
Well, I think like a good way I connect with my friends too that I don't see that often is like I go to music festivals and like the reason I like music festivals so much is because like I particularly was super against them for the longest time. I was like, it's just a safe place to do drugs. Like, why would anybody even want to, fucking go to these things? And then I went to one and I was like, oh my God, this is like a community of like really nice people who don't want to judge you. You can dress however you want, you can dance however you want. Everybody's just here to have a good time and be there for each other. And it's not even, and like the music's really just a bonus to that like amazing like, feeling of like friendship and happiness. And it's a great way for me to like get all my friends like, hey, I haven't seen you in a couple years. Um, let's all put some money into a pool to help everybody get out to this place and stay in a cramped up Airbnb, and then we can all go, festival for 3 days, go home and talk about it. It's a good time.
Okay, interesting.
But anyways,
Well, so just based on this, have you heard any other Ministry songs before this?
absolutely not. Not even. Honestly, it's that I would have never found that band on my own if you had not recommended that album to me.
Okay, so here's something I want to point out, just in case you might be thinking of checking any of their other music out. their music is kind of inconsistent. The very first album they made is like a synthy '80s electronic pop album, kind of
which I fuck with.
completely dissimilar from all of the rest of their music. It is like night and day. It is so weird to listen to any of their other albums and then listen to their first album. So I don't necessarily recommend it, but it does have one song that I like called "Revenge." Their next album after that, I still don't really like. So if I had been following them like at the time, if I had been born considerably earlier, I don't think I would have paid attention to Ministry after the second album. Like if I had listened to the first one and thought, okay, maybe, and then the second one, I would have been like, no. And then their third album, which is the one before the one we listened to, which is called "The Land of Rape and Honey," is which
Yeah,
actually that is the what do you call that? Like a motto or a slogan of an actual city in the United States. They call it the Land of Rape and Honey because they have like a big production of rapeseed,
oh,
which is a
okay.
terrible, yeah, it is a fucking terrible thing to call your place, like to have that as your motto.
Yeah, like
Um,
nobody was sitting there like, hey, by the way, guys, what do we tell the people visiting who don't know the inside joke? Well, let's just hope they have whistles.
let's just Jesus fucking Christ. Let's hope they happen to think that it's rapeseed oil and not fucking rape like it says.
Well, I
Um,
guess apparently a reaction to that would be a decrease in rape in that area because people are probably like, I have to be extra careful. This is the land of rape and honey.
are they gonna get something sweet or something maybe on the sour side?
I don't know, but they better keep their hand over their fucking drink.
Jesus.
I'm sorry. I kid, guys. I kid. That's not funny, but it is a little bit.
It's a little funny, come on.
It is a little funny. Anybody dumb enough to have that be their town motto, like,
It's
okay.
it's so bizarre. It's like so completely clueless.
I want to see the old people that live there that say it though. That's what old people are supposed to be wiser than that. Like, I just wonder like, what 7-year-old fuck was like, yeah, I sign off on this.
Yeah, it was a good idea at the time. I don't think it
Yeah,
was. I don't think it ever would have
what,
ever been a good idea.
everything was a good idea at the time. But yeah,
But yeah,
I
if
will say I like artists that do veer off from, there's something people forget too, man. Like when you listen to music, like Brandon, what you listened to when you were fucking 10 and what you listen to now, they might have some similarities, but you always change and you're always finding new things. And I don't really down on artists for like, trying new things or wanting to learn different styles, but they can't expect their audience to stay on board with them. Like
yeah,
unfortunately, when you like a band, there's a reason you like them, and when they kind of veer off from why you like them, it's great, experiment, but you can't, you know what I mean?
yeah,
There's liking a band for the band and then liking it for its music. So
that's
I
true.
will give anybody a chance and listen to their new whatever style, and I'll be
Yeah.
extremely grateful.
Well, if you like this album as much as you say, then you might also enjoy The Land of Rape and Honey, which was their first album to have this kind of industrial sound. It's a little different, but I would say it's pretty strong. Reverse follow up, I guess in this case, because we started with this one. Um,
Once.
it's got some great kind of heavy hitting tracks on it, and it's got all the sampling and stuff. It's uh, it's really a landmark album for industrial music. I think Trent Reznor from Nine Inch Nails said that Nine Inch Nails would not exist without that album.
Dude, that's fucking cool. I love when people give acknowledgement like that because you're absolutely right, man. It's like after you explained to me how they were trying like an '80s kind of synthy pop thing, I really feel that in this. Like I like that they've infused different elements from things like almost like contrasting music styles into like industrial, which is like a pretty heavy and blunt like music style. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and another thing to get past if you try to listen to their first album is that he sings in a like a fake British accent, which is weird
Isn't
to
that
say the
isn't that kind
least.
of funny? That's the opposite with other bands, like British bands singing like an American accent and Australians singing an American accent.
Is that a thing?
I mean, I don't know if that's, I don't want to sound stupid here, but I just know the way we pronounce our vowels are the way that other people in other countries sing in English.
Huh.
So
Okay.
it's very rare you'll like, I mean, unless you're listening to like, fucking The Clash or, whatever generic fucking British punk band that came out, you'll hear that British accent. But I mean, for the most part, like, sorry, who's a famous singer who's British that you know right now?
Harry Styles.
Harry Styles does not sing like he's British. You listen to Harry Styles right now, it sounds like you're, an American singing. So, yeah, kind of opposite of what you were saying.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Yeah, I think that's a funny paradigm. Americans trying to sound British. I'm gonna get right on that.
Yeah. And
My name's
then
Kevin. I'm born in Palmdale, California.
I'll send you after we're done with this a list of like what I would consider like some strong Ministry albums to listen to, and I'll leave it up to you if you want to listen to any others after that. But
Okay, right on.
I will have my recommendations of like these are the ones that
There-
I think you should listen to.
And is there a place that people can see? Like, are we gonna list the description for the? You can cut this out if you want. Like, are we gonna list the description of these um, like what we're listening to and what we're talking about in the video or in the podcast link?
Yeah, I'll try to remember to leave the relevant details in the
Dude,
description.
dude, for all point 0.5 of our fans.
Yeah, I don't know if we even have a fan, but
Good.
but uh, that's not why we're doing this. This is I would
Hey
consider
man,
this mostly a good way to talk to my friend, and also if anybody wants to maybe
like
enjoy
jumping
what
on
we're
a
talking about, then that's
conversation.
fine.
Hey man, we're just the universe experiencing itself, man. That's all I know.
What in, bruh?
Whoa, dude, that was a mind blowing perception. Okay.
So,
Cool.
I guess we're just gonna kind of start free talking here, unless you had anything else you wanted to add.
No, just good album pick. I was actually, don't take this personal, but I actually was surprised that you threw something my way that I was going to find interesting and intriguing because we don't always have the same exact music taste, but that was a good infusion of what we both like. So, good pick.
Okay, okay. Oh, and you know what? This time we'll do it before the discussion ends. We'll go ahead and ask Cody, what is your recommendation for the album on our next podcast episode?
So, for me, I held it up to two, and I'll talk about the other one later, but for today, one particular album that I find personally, it's a personal favorite, and I think it really reflects a time period and an attitude would be Blue Album by Weezer. Anybody listening should have an idea, or like if even heard the word Weezer, a little early '90s band, kind of alternative, whatever type of deal. It's kind of hard to give them like a label or any band from that time period, but it was a really iconic album. It was a headlining album for years. I mean, you'll still hear some of the songs from that album coming on the radio. And I just think if you go ahead and give it a listen, dive a little deeper into it. If you want, do a little research. There's a lot more to that album than meets the eye. So
Okay,
one
I've
more
got it
time,
written
that's
down.
going to be Blue Album from Weezer.
All right, I've got it written down, and I will be listening to that before the next episode of our podcast.
Right on, right.
Which let's let's try and get it a little bit sooner than this one was.
Yeah, definitely.
Just for anyone who actually gives a shit, we both had things kind of coming up in our lives, and it just kind of kept us from getting to it as fast as we could have. So, uh,
Yeah, and also I'm kind of like I just get really spacey, guys, and it's been like a reoccurring problem. So sometimes Brandon, he has a little shot collar that he has embedded in the back of my neck. So if I don't, get back on this with him, he's gonna shock me.
yeah, I'm gonna shock my baby boy, my little
Yeah,
daddy's bitch.
cross country anytime he wants.
Just kind of free talking here. Have you been playing any interesting games lately or anything?
So I'm getting back on the PC. I'm kind of running a couple of games off my Surface Pro 7 that I just got. I know, whatever. Um, but I've been playing Smite, which is like a free MOBA that you can play.
Okay.
It's basically, League of Legends with with a third person point of view. And then I've actually went back and been playing Fallout 3. Love that game.
Okay, interesting. Have you played the original two Fallout games?
No, and I've never played Vegas either.
Really? Okay.
I
Well,
literally get so much shit for not playing Vegas. Everybody says New Vegas is definitely like the champion storyline amongst the Fallout series.
it's fun, and you get more out of it if you have played Fallout 1 and 2, because it takes place closer to the side of the country that those games take place in, sort of the West Coast kind of.
What about as far as the time period though? Like how far away is 1 and 2 from New Vegas?
Ooh, that's a good question. Fallout 2. What damn year does that take place in? Okay, Fallout 2 is in 2241, so remember that number for me.
Okay,
2241.
2241.
2281 is the setting of New Vegas. So, about 40 years.
Oh, that's kind of
Which
fun.
actually, Fallout 2 is 80 years after the events of Fallout 1.
Okay, okay, okay.
So, yeah, those two games take place well in advance. Distant enough that anything you did obviously isn't going to come up in those games. So,
Okay, so what's in your okay? Since we're on the subject of Fallout, we might as well go down here. What
sure.
is your favorite story arc in the Fallout series? I mean, a story arc that you really felt like was like, "Ow, that kind of hit a heartstring with me." Like, this is actually really because there's a couple moments in Fallout. Like, if you're paying attention, there's a lot of dark stuff you can find in that game. Like, I went to this high school, I think it's Brown High School or whatever in Fallout 3. I found a cage of just dead kids, like skeletons.
Yeah, Jesus.
I was like, what? Like, what happened? Just blood all over the
Yeah,
wall.
some of the things that I really like about the Fallout games is just sort of like vignettes, little scenes that you can stumble upon that maybe don't even have much of an explanation. It's just like this just happened and it's
Yeah,
gone now.
like a Cohen Brothers vibe, like just like a random story in the middle of nowhere, like a really interesting tale, and you just watch it unfold in front of you. Um, and I don't, I see when you played Fallout, did it ever like, especially when you first, we're gonna say Fallout 3 in Vegas, particularly for this scenario, when
Okay.
you kicked that game up, and the graphics weren't, I'm not gonna say they weren't the best, but did it ever bother you that like, the graphics weren't really up to par, and you can kind of get stuck in some, clippy kind of
Oh, they're
background,
janky for sure.
but the story just made up for it, right? Like I think the story just 100% made up for it.
Yeah, the story and honestly, Fallout 3 when I got that, I remember I got it Christmas in 2008. Um, it blew my mind because I had not played a game that was so open. I
Yeah.
know that there were other games that were like that before that, but that was the first time I had experienced that. And when I realized that once I left the vault, I could go in any fucking direction I wanted, I felt overwhelmed and I didn't know what to do.
Yeah, I
Um,
think that was the first overwhelming game that I gave a chance because I used to get way overwhelmed with big games. I was like,
okay.
what do I do? Like, there's too much. I don't want to be told what to do. Or sorry, I want to be told what to do. And it
Yeah.
was like, oh, I can do whatever I want. Like, I can literally just not play the story at all and just go, like kill
Yeah, I
more.
remember I just started traveling. I guess it would be like southeast from the vault, and I
Yeah,
ended
they.
up in like the city area, and I found like the Washington landmarks and stuff, and it was scary because like when I was there, I was obviously pretty low level because I just kind of walked straight there, and there was like fucking super mutants everywhere, and everything seemed
You're
really
like, I'm not
dangerous and
supposed to be
scary.
here.
Yeah, it felt like really amazing. It was
But see, that was the end of the game. It was like a trial and error. Like you had to figure it out. Like you walk out the vault door, and you might wind up in a place that is a good area to be, or you might totally be in the wrong leveled area. But that's why you got to save.
yeah. I mean, the thing they want you to do is go straight to Megaton, which would have been a good idea, but I didn't even know it was there.
You were there. It's like so hidden to like the right or what. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I just kind of started
You-
walking straight, and I missed Megaton completely. So when I went back and did that, I was like, this makes way more sense.
I mean, So now I'm excited because I'm gonna beat my playthrough of Fallout 3 first before I think I'm gonna touch New Vegas just to get a little refreshed. But I'm
Sure.
a little excited to touch New Vegas because like it's a whole new map, like a whole.
Oh yeah.
Do you start off in a vault?
No. Your
Okay,
character
okay.
does is not a
This
vault
story
dweller.
is not vault dweller related.
No, you get a vault suit and a Pip Boy at the start, but it's not because you started in a vault. I won't say there's circumstances that you know lead up to that.
Um, so really, the Vault Dwellers are kind of just like a side. They're kind of just a story arc in a bigger universe, I guess is what you're trying to say. So like, I believe in Fallout 1 and 2, don't you play as like the Brotherhood of Steel or?
No, so in Fallout One, you are a vault dweller. So the game's definitely started with that as like the base concept. In Fallout
Okay,
Two, you are not. You are like a tribal person who lives in like a tribe in a bunch of tents and shit, and you have like a trial where you go through a temple to prove that
that's
you're a man and stuff like that. So,
sick.
and then they give you the suit of the first vault dweller because he's revered as like a hero.
Oh, so he's
So
like an omniscient godlike being to these people, like, oh, the Vault Dweller.
yeah, they give you the vault dweller suit when it becomes obvious that like you need to go do something to save your people. So yeah, so in the very second game, you're not even a vault dweller. So New Vegas doing it isn't exactly new, but
Okay, so that's not like a new edgy thing. Well, I mean, and that's cool because there's like a lot, man. Like, and anybody listening, if you never played a Fallout game, look, man, it's even my 21, 22 year old now, or no, almost 22 year old girlfriend. Like, she sees me playing it, she thinks it's interesting. The only reason I got into that game at all, which I never would have, is my brother was a spoiled brat, and he would just buy games and never play them, and he would literally have me come over and play the games in front of him. And I'm just like,
okay.
okay. And so I played Fallout, and I was like, dude, this is a cool, like, whoever wrote this entire story, just, let's give a round of applause to people who just take these really complicated ideas out of their head and, like, make it a reality. Because I, it's like Fallout. It's like the person who designed the look, the layout, the themes, like, they just nailed it on the head. It had like I'm talking about, like the Brotherhood of Steel. They look like stormtroopers almost, like scary, just freaking robotic, mechanized dudes. And
Yeah.
then you have these like mutant ghouls running around. Like, what a cool little world that person created
Oh
of
yeah,
people.
I love what was created with the first Fallout game. I think Fallout 3 has some things in it that don't kind of sit well with me. And mostly it's with the Brotherhood of Steel, the way they're portrayed, because they're not good guys.
No, they aren't good guys. As a matter of fact, I thought I was about to say it's like that. What their like your perception of them completely is based on the character you're playing in the game.
Yeah, Fallout 3 definitely treats them like the good guys, but you'll
Well,
find out when you play New Vegas that that is not necessarily the case, and you'll have to make your own decision on that.
but
But
aren't there like branches of the Brotherhood of Steel that aren't considered like as evil as others?
sure, and in Fallout 4, which I don't know if you've played that.
I have. I have not beat it, but I know all the endings. I'm aware of how it ends.
Okay, yeah, in Fallout 4, I cannot like in good moral standing side with the Brotherhood of Steel. I just can't
Okay.
do it. Um,
I mean, I don't like the institution either.
Oh no, I don't. I don't like them either. I think that they have a serious problem with ethics.
So,
But
did you go with the Minutemen or the Underground?
so basically, what I do is I like to do an ending where I do the Minutemen, and I also help the Brotherhood and the Railroad to a certain extent. And then at the end of my game, they're all still alive, so that I didn't have to massacre entire factions.
Oh, so you picked the good guy ending. Ooh, Mr. Morality.
You know what? I am Mr. Morality, and this is my fucking wasteland. I'm gonna treat it the way it should be treated.
I'm not gonna lie, Brandon. I play games like that, and I like to think I'm a good person, but sometimes I just have an itch to like kill somebody in that game, and I do it.
Jesus.
Like I forgot. I think there was like the first level. You had to go talk to this mercenary chick who owes like Moriarty caps or whatever, and she's like, I'm like, how about I just lie to him and pay him the cows or whatever? She's like, yeah, that's a good idea. And then she turned around and totally was like cool with me just fixing her fucked up mistake. And I was like, no, you know what? Fuck you. I was like, how dare you let a stranger come in and bear your burden? And I blew her brains out.
Jesus.
Yeah, but then I loaded the save and didn't
Oh
do
well, if
that.
you reload the save, that doesn't count.
You know what I mean? Like, come on. Like, there's got to be some kind of good in me.
Just remember, Cody. There's no reloading a save in real life.
Boy, it's not Call of Duty in real life. Here's my question, Brandon.
Okay.
If somebody offered you, and this kind of just, I don't know why the loading and saving thing reminded me. If somebody said, Brandon, I'm going to upload your soul into a robot,
Okay.
file for file, do you think by the time that your soul, quote unquote, whatever we're quantifying or logic, like, however we're quantifying what a soul is, once it's fully uploaded into that do you think it's still you, or do you think like it's the argument of like, yeah, all the molecules are there, but you actually died in the process, and that's just a copy of you?
So the way I feel about that kind of thing is I feel like I don't believe in the concept of a soul. I think that you are your brain, and that's all there is to
Okay,
it. So
you
I
just
think
brain exist.
brain is all that matters. So if you transport your brain into another vessel, it's you.
Mhm.
If
Okay.
your brain dies, you're gone, and that's just how I feel about that.
So as long as the brain has some kind of safe passage to another unit, or
Yeah,
but
if
without the brain, it's really not you at that point. It's just maybe like an artificial version of you being extracted from whatever it is thinks your brain is. I got you. I got you.
yeah,
Okay.
that's why it annoys like when people get into like these dumb clone arguments. It always pisses me
Yeah,
off because people don't think about what cloning really is. You're not making another you. You're making a child version of you, basically.
yeah,
It's
child versus you,
it's
or
it's a
even
relative. It's not you.
and it won't,
Um,
and it'll never be you. It
right.
can't. It's gonna have different external experiences, different thoughts. Yeah, 100%. I think, obviously cloning is unethical, but you really could solve a lot of like serious medical problems by just cloning one person and putting them through a bunch of different environments. Oh, don't ever let me be a scientist. All right, Brandon number 243. How do you feel?
Jeez, 243. Goddamn.
I want to go home.
Oh. Okay. I've been playing a huge amount of. Are you familiar with the Total War series?
Okay, I know what it is. I've heard the name, but I don't have like a picture in my brain, so paint it, please.
Okay, so Total War is a grand strategy. You it's turn based, so you manage your settlements, you move your armies around. But when you are ready to fight, you can play a real time battle. So it's basically two games. You've got the campaign part, which is more strategic, and you got to be like money minded and stuff like that. And then you have the battle part, which is a little different. It's like playing, I don't know, like Age of Empires for however long it lasts. Not quite Age of Empire. That's a little simpler, but yeah, you build armies, you take shit over, you build your empire, your kingdom, and yeah, I mean, I don't know what else to really say about it besides that. I can show you later, but I've been playing the fucking shit out of Total War Warhammer 2, which is weird because I used to like hate Warhammer a lot, and this is the game that turned me around to liking Warhammer and 40K.
That's weird. I know a lot of people that like Warhammer too, and this wouldn't be the first time somebody's tried to like say, "Hey, have you ever played Warhammer? You want to play with me?" And I'm like, oh, I don't know what the fuck that is.
Yeah.
But
I
have you have you ever played War Thunder?
no. Um,
Okay, no, fuck that game. Never mind. We're not talking about it. Never mind.
okay. Um, but yeah, like, let's check my fucking Steam hours here. Because I played a lot of this. I have played 875 hours of Warhammer 2.
Oh shit! Have you
Yeah.
played fucking Fall Guy.
Fall Guys?
Fall Guys? Yeah, Fall Guys.
Little like game show type game where you're like running
Yeah,
around.
it's like the wipeout little game show, fucking little plushy dudes.
I haven't personally played it, but I know all about it.
Okay, it's one of those other games we're not talking about, but I was just curious. To anybody who's ever watched the show Wipeout, that's basically it.
Oh, I wanted to ask since we're creeping up on what like 40 something minutes here.
What about
Um, let's see here. Do you think we'll be able to play Phasmophobia?
that, my friend, is not an issue of logistics, but it's an issue of time because it requires me to set up a laptop with a broken screen
Okay.
up to a monitor. It's not impossible, but I'm not going to talk about it over here. But you're aware of my living situation at the moment. I'm not
Yeah.
homeless, but I have a place to stay. Everybody's wondering, just a very complicated situation, and it is kind of hindering like what I can and can't do in my free time.
Okay.
So, yes, but maybe not as quickly or as frequently as we would like.
Okay. Just checking. Cause if we can get at least one session in, I'd like to record it and throw it up on the channel.
Oh hell yeah, dude!
Cause you haven't played, so I think it'll be fun to have both of our perspectives. Cause I've played a lot of it, so I know what
well,
I'm doing. So I'm not like a fool, and you don't know anything
my
for the most
roommates,
part.
like my roommates Ryan and Jack, they play it all the time. Like Jack has like a supercomputer, and Ryan's on his way to having one, and they play that fucking game every day.
Damn,
So
every
if
day.
and they're really really nice, cool people. So I think it'd be fun to get them in on it too.
Okay.
And then you guys can just drag me along for the ride and hope I don't get mutilated by a banshee or a djinn. Are there banshees in Phasmophobia?
Yeah.
Oh, can you hear him scream?
It's not quite that sophisticated yet, at least. I
Oh, they
mean,
need to make that a
keep in
priority
mind
number
it's
one.
one guy I think working on the whole game, and considering that, it's quite impressive that he's managed to make such a fun game.
Are there any castle levels?
No, what we've got so far is like the beginner house, which is just a one-story house, pretty normal looking, nothing like super
Mm-hmm.
crazy or
Has a
weird about it.
basement.
And then we've got I think two-story houses that are fairly similar to the first house. They're just kind of like normal suburban whatever houses. Then you've got two fucking scary ass like wood cabin places, and I hate those. They actually really upset me. And then we've got a high school, a prison, and an asylum.
I heard the prison's huge. Like it takes like 3 minutes just to get across the damn thing.
Yeah, the prison's pretty big. That'd be the kind of thing where, yeah, if you could get your friends in on that, that would be good. But I think for our first time, you and me should just hit the smallest location so that I can take time to properly show you how all the tools work and that sort of thing.
And also, anybody fucking listening, you get your ass off this computer when you're done, and you go watch a movie called 13 Ghosts. Just want to put that out there. That
13
movie
ghosts,
sucks.
oh no.
I remember you showed me that movie, and I was like, God, I thought I was scared before. Now I'm like, there's different kinds of ghosts.
Yeah, 13 Ghosts is like it. It's a movie that a lot of people remember
Stories.
fondly, but
Sick. You remember like the DVD gave you little backstories
oh
on like
yeah,
each.
that was kind of fun. I enjoy that more than I like the movie.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is it was like they added like lore and stuff. Like they added the lore of the jackal and everybody, and I was like, whoa, these are like really cool stories. Like they could have made a better movie off of just the lore of these characters.
Yeah, because the movie honestly isn't really that good. But the little lore extra on the DVD is fun.
Yeah, I just remember the jackal and the flashing cage face thing, and I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it's just basically that movie's idea of scaring you is just having a guy go in the camera. Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, and people, one more thing. One more silly, silly, simple thing. If you're vegan, keep it to your damn self. Thank you. I have to make this little rant. This week, I have heard 4 people come out as vegan, which I'm totally fine. It's your life choice. but I don't need to know about it every second of the day. I just wanted to throw that out there as well. Sorry to the audience. That's just a little jab. If you don't like meat, that's cool, man. Not all of us, are perfect or close to it. So, you know.
Yeah, we might have a. If we ever get enough listeners, we might have a split fan base where some people are like,
Oh
Cody's the
no, I'm
fucking
literally gonna come
best.
back. I'm coming back as vegan the next episode. I'm gonna be wearing the full get up, eating like celery on the camera. I'll be like, dude, these meat eaters, man.
Just fucking flip flopping, pissing your own fans off.
Oh no, literally, dude, I'm just gonna come on the show with conflicting points of views on things and just jump sides like every episode.
You fucking bastard.
But anyway, big question, Brandon. Actually, since you're in the other side of the country,
Okay.
how was that cold spell? We didn't get it here in Florida, and anybody who's from Florida will understand. It was 80 degrees, nice and cozy over here.
Oh, are you talking about like the storms?
Oh, I'm talking about the big freeze, man, where Texas got frozen over, and I don't. I'm not even, dude. I'm so ignorant to the whole event. I don't even know what happened. I just know power got shut off for millions. That's it.
Yeah. We didn't get anything nearly that harsh in.
Okay, so we didn't get that cold in Cali.
No, at least not where I live.
Okay, okay.
Because California is so goddamn big, it's not consistent all the way
Yeah,
through.
we're like the ring from Halo. We have like all the different climates. Like you just don't connect on the other ends. You could literally take California, roll it into a big circle, connect it, and it would be a Halo ring.
Yeah, California's fucking huge.
Yeah, it's cool. It's got multi-terrain. But if you don't have any money, stay away, people. It's getting expensive, and it's only getting more expensive.
Yeah,
But
unless you're willing to live in a manufactured home like I am.
I like manufactured homes because you know what? They survive storms, and I mean you can move them basically if you
Yeah.
really wanted to.
Yeah, if I really want it. I'm never fucking moving this thing. It sounds like a
Dude,
pain in the ass.
I was thinking about just getting an RV and just like loading it up with a bunch of gaming and like camera equipment. Better yet, fuck the gaming equipment, rip that out, ghost hunting equipment. We'll call it. We'll get a Great Dane, brown, black spots. You can wear a freaking ascot and white shirt and like blue pants. I'll just put on a green shirt and some like tan, bell bottoms. Uh, we'll smoke a lot of weed, have the munchies all the time, talk to the dog, and we'll hunt for ghosts.
Just so we're clear, Cody, I think, has different opinions on ghosts in real life than I do.
Also, that idea that I just pitched to everybody that was completely authentic and original.
Oh, yeah, of course. It doesn't remotely
We might
resemble
call the
anything.
band the Machine of Mystery, and we're gonna name the dog Doobie.
Yeah, dude, that's a good name. Cause weed, lol.
Lol. 420, bro, sick.
Fucking bruh.
God, the word lit. I hate that I say it now, but I remember when I first heard it, and I was like, God, I'd punch myself if I was in middle school saying the word lit.
Oh, shit. What was that thing we heard someone say in high school? It was so fucking funny.
You have to
God.
literally remember because I know what you're talking about, but I can't hear the word.
Oh, I remember you overheard somebody say something. It was like the funniest fucking thing to you and me because we had never
So
heard it
tight,
before.
so tight. No,
No,
even though shit, you
this
tight.
this this was in high school, not middle school.
Oh, okay. Oh, whoa. Excuse me, the 3 year difference. By the way, people, the word tight had a very brief and short existence in our vocabulary. That's lit. Dude, that's sensational. I don't know. Probably something really stupid. I mean,
Oh god, I'll try to
I
remember for the next
yeah,
podcast.
I don't remember. I mean, dude, I stupid shit comes out of my mouth all the time. I remember one time I was, we were in one of the quads in high school, and I was jumping up on a planter, surrounded by concrete, and I slipped, and my shin just dragged across the concrete all the way to the
Uh,
ground. And I fell on the ground, and Levi actually was there pointing at my leg. He's like, "Oh, is that bone?" And in my pain and disarray, I'm just like, "Is that bone or is that just stupid?" I was in so much pain, I didn't know what to say.
I remember your dumbass. You punched that thing in the gym.
Oh my god, I tell this story all the time. Broke my hand.
Yeah, you
Broke my
actually
hand.
broke your hand.
I think it was the Sadie Hawkins dance or some kind of dance.
Yeah, it was some. I know they played that fucking Cha Cha Slide song.
Yeah, and Dominique Boyd went up and punched. Okay. So if anybody knows like how gymnasts use, they have like little hurdles. It has like two handles on it. Looks like a giant cow, and they do like little leg flares on it. Well, like everybody was going up and punching it, as a little kid, and I'm like, yeah, I'm tough. I can punch it that hard. Well, little did I know, none of them were really punching it that hard, and I don't know if they intentionally were trying to get me to punch it, but it was my turn, and dude, I went in. I mean, full right step, spring off the back foot, fucking knuckles connected, and it was an instant crunching noise. I cried. I never got to go on that date with Shayna that I wanted to go on with, and then I had to go to the nurse's office. And then the nurse told me that there was nothing wrong. I went home. My mom found out I had a broken hand, and she went and dragged that fucking nurse by her hair. Okay, she didn't drag her by her hair, but she bitched her out.
Okay.
Yeah, I broke my hand. I remember that. I broke my leg. God, that's always
Yeah,
broken.
that's how I met you. Is your fucking leg was broken when we first met?
Yeah, that's right. God, dude. Like, Brandon, are you losing memory of your childhood?
No, I remember
Fuck.
tons of shit.
I can't remember anything. Like I remember the general area and situation. I don't remember many details, but like a couple. Like I remember your walking to your house before I went home, like a lot.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, dude, we used to hang out every day, like because your house was on the way home, and then we'd hang out with Boots and freaking. Wait a second! Don't get mad at me. The gray cat,
Oh,
Gary.
Putty.
Putty. Fucking Putty. Favorite cat. Putty was sick.
Yeah, he was a good cat, man. He was real fluffy.
Dude, and he also just like kind of like I don't know, man.
He was
He had this
chill.
vibe. Like, he could have always killed us in our sleep, but he's like, I'm not gonna do that. You know what
Nah,
it
he
gave
was a
me?
good
He
cat.
gave me the vibe that like if some like a spider or anything was gonna try to get us while we were sleeping, he definitely wouldn't let that happen. Kind of just sitting there with like a fucking like you know what I mean, like an M14 sniper, just like locked in on that little like cascade area above your roof, just like watching for spiders. Has a cigar hanging out of his mouth. Speaking of which, Brandon, real quick, before because I know we're probably gonna wrap this up soon.
Yeah.
Did you get a chance to play the new Modern Warfare story?
No, I'm not into those. The only reason I ever
Okay,
played them is because you made me borrow them.
I made you. Yeah, then we would go through the story together and blah 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 blah. My question to you: are you aware of what they did?
Are we talking like something controversial?
Not controversial, just the specifically the Call of Duty story for Modern Warfare.
No.
Okay, and by the way, everybody, this isn't like a video game like thing we're always talking about. It just happens to be the subject matter at the time. They took the original story and they rebooted it. So
Oh,
same characters, kind of, and like it's just like a new story. So like different like outcomes, different kind of positions, different character models. But yeah, same characters, different like rebooted the whole story.
okay.
It's I'll say a little darker than the old game, but yeah. Anyways, I don't know. You'll probably never get around to playing it anyway. So
Probably
and
not
it's,
at this
it's
point. My
or I
fucking
feel like
wish
there's other
list on
games
Steam
out
is like
there.
94 games long.
Yeah, and also there's just like a million other like this like you said, there's a million other games I'd rather play first. But anyways, folks, I'm not gonna lie, that is gonna be time for me. I have a couple things on the agenda today. And
Okay.
Brandon,
Yes, sir.
is there anything else you wanted to throw into our audience and me?
Okay, so just as a last minute reminder, we are going to be listening to Blue Album by Weezer, and that will be the discussion jump off point for our next episode.
All right, right on, and I'm excited to talk about it. There's a couple of fun facts in there that I think people find interesting, and definitely some kind of resonance with everybody who's basically anybody born from 89 to 2002 can kind of relate to this like shift. So,
Okay. All right. Well,
all
if that's everything for our discussion, we will see you guys in the next episode.
toodles.